Welcome to Mastering Machines, where we discover tomorrow's reality.
In the world of artificial intelligence, few names carry the weight of Yann Lecun. For more than a decade, he's been the intellectual backbone of Meta's AI research team. He's a Turing Award winner, a pioneer of deep learning, and one of the field's most outspoken thinkers. But a couple weeks ago, reports surfaced that Lecun plans to leave Meta, the company formerly known as Facebook, to launch his own startup. It's a development that could reshape not only Meta's research trajectory, but also the balance of power in global AI innovation. According to TechCrunch and other outlets, Lecun's upcoming venture will focus on the same ideas that have long defined his career, building systems that understand the world and not just imitate language. Obviously, a reference to large language models and him being pretty critical of large language models. His departure, it confirmed, marks the end of an era at Meta and signals a new phase in the evolution of AI research itself. Today, what we'll do is look behind Lecun's reported decision and how Meta's AI priorities have shifted in recent years, and what this move could mean for the future of the AI field. Yann Lecun didn't arrive at Meta by accident. He's a French-American visionary in machine learning, and he helped popularize what's called convolutional neural networks, and he laid the groundwork for modern deep learning, and in 2018, he received the ACM-AM Turing Award. When Facebook, now Meta, recruited him in 2013 to head its FAIR lab, which stands for Fundamental AI Research, it signaled that the social media giant meant to be more than, likes and shares in a social media network. It was really gearing up for the future age of artificial intelligence. Lecun's vision was that machines don't merely mimic language, but they need to truly understand the world, what's called a world model of cause and effect and of space and time. Yet he was never content with the hype. He publicly critiqued the notion that current large language models were on the cusp of human-level intelligence. He's spoken out against this many of times. He thinks that AGI is not going to happen through LLMs, but through world models. And the fact that we're even talking about it, he says that we're still a long ways away from AGI. However, the environment inside Meta began to change as AI competition started to heat up with, OpenAI becoming a huge player in the tech field with ChatGPT, Google DeepMind, and others sprinting to commercialize generative AI. Meta embarked on re-engineering of its AI domain. Meta invested huge sums of money, for example, in the data labeling firm Scale AI, which is pretty important because eventually the CEO and founder of Scale AI, Alexander Wang, would be part of the team. But Scale AI, Meta paid Scale AI $14.3 billion for their data labeling. And he created a new unit called Meta Superintelligence Labs. But meanwhile, the internal dynamics reportedly grew more complex between, Alexander Wang being part of it, and then also the established artificial intelligence lab that was at Meta under Lecun. And they have been overshadowed by the product-oriented team of Alexander Wang. Sources such as Financial Times reported that Lecun plans to depart Meta in the coming months and is already in talks to raise capital for a startup focused on the very world model research he has championed. Meta did not publicly comment on this at first. The story, really doesn't read well. A respected AI figure at Meta stepping out of this mega platform to build something more focused, perhaps pure to his research ethos, wasn't the best PR. So what kind of startup is Yann Lecun trying to build? Based on Lecun's, prior public comments, very likely a lab, probing how machines can build internal models of the physical world and not just text and not, text prediction, but actually understanding the world when it comes to it spatially and how it, we interact with the world when it comes to planning and simulation. This move is very significant for a number of reasons. First, for Meta, losing its chief AI scientist, especially one so publicly tied to the long-term research agenda, may signal an internal strain between research and product acceleration. Some reports have allegedly pointed to frustration among researchers about navigating large company bureaucracy, especially of the establishing of the Meta Superintelligence Labs, which was headed up by Alexander Wang. For the AI ecosystem, though, when senior researchers leave major companies to start their own ventures, they often take with them not just talent, but ideas, momentum, and investor interest, which is probably one of the most important things. The field could see a surge in deep tech. These AI labs pursuing more world models, casual reasoning, and simulation before we wait for the next generative text wave. And we're seeing even that with Google with the Semi 2 model, which uses world building as a way of reasoning and creating these large virtual worlds based off of prompts. The last reason why it's such an impact is the actual research agenda. Lecun has long argued that we shouldn't be fooled by generative text fluency alone. He says that the AI needs to understand the world. And his departure from Meta AI Labs might accelerate this pivot of more foundational labs worrying about world models and less about LLMs. Me personally, I think that this is going to be more of a shift from LLMs to these world models, but I don't think it's going to be as dramatic and as quick as people think it is with the moving of Yann Lecun. But will Meta successfully shift from long-term research, its fair division, to rapid productization, or will it just kind of flounder like it did with its last release of Llama? Yann Lecun once asked, before we worry about controlling AI that's smarter than us, we might first need to build a system that's smarter than a house cat. Whatever Yann's next move is, and whatever Meta's next chapter is, the journey of that humble house cat may now begin. So everyone should be watching really closely on what Yann is doing and what Meta is not doing. Remember, this has been Master Machines, where we discover tomorrow's reality.